Alright, so the first two questions are going to be midpoint distance questions. Alright, so I give you guys some points. I'm going to do number 2. I give you the point A and the point B. And I'm asking you to find the midpoint or the distance. Which one do you want to do first? Midpoint. So if I'm going to do the midpoint first, I have to use the midpoint formula. The best thing to do would to be identify your points. This is my first x value. This is my first y value. This is my second x value. This is my second y value. So I'm going to take those points and put them in the midpoint formula. 2 plus 10 divided by 2. Negative 6 plus 0 divided by 2. Alright, so add the numbers together. 12 divided by 2. And negative 6 divided by 2. If you can simplify it, simplify it. Can you do 12 divided by 2? Yes. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Can you do negative 6 divided by 2? Yes. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So this is your answer for midpoint. Nothing super crazy. Your calculator will do that, and I will give you the formula for the test. All right? For distance, you have to fill out the equation to receive credit. All right? That's showing your work. So I need to use my same points and use the distance formula. x2, or my second x value, is 10. Minus. My first x value is 2 squared. Plus, my second y value is 0. Minus, my first y value is negative 6 squared. If you can do that, that's called showing your work. Then you can just plug that into your calculator. So I'll show you what that looks like. We do the square root of, open parentheses, 10 minus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus, open parentheses, 6 minus, or 0 minus negative 6, close parentheses, squared. That's what we have on our paper, right? Type that in, hit enter, 10. Perfect whole number. So the answer to this question is 10. And that's how the first two questions look. Yes, sir. Let's do it wrong. So x2, sorry, disregard that line, minus x1, and then y2 minus y1. I'll give you this formula on the test. You just gotta plug them in the right order. So you can do it by hand or in your calculator. It doesn't really matter. So I'll leave the first question for you. All right. The second question is pretty similar. The only difference is that there is a graph now. You have to go to the graph and pull the points off the graph. So I want to know, where is x? Where is this point? Careful, the graph counts by 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's really negative 2, 2, 4, 6. X is at negative 2, 6, because the graph counts by 2's. Where's y? 4, negative 4. So if I want to do the midpoint formula, I got to use the same formula. Add my x's together. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. Add these two numbers together. Negative 2 plus 4. Add my y's together. 6 plus negative 4. So negative 2 plus 4 is 2 over 2. 6 plus negative 4 is 2 over 2. What is 2 divided by 2? 1. So my answer for the midpoint is 1, 1. Then you have to go back and do distance as well. So I have my x coordinates, I have my distance formula. I'm trying to plug the numbers into the right spot. So what's my second x value? 4. My first x value is negative 2. So it's 4 minus negative 2 squared plus my second y value. Oops, sorry. Negative 4 minus 6. That's what I have to type in my calculator. So let's try that. 4, negative 2, negative 4, 6. I do the square root of, open parentheses, 4 minus negative 2 squared, negative 4 to negative 6. Close parentheses, squared, plus, open parentheses, negative 4 minus 6. Close parentheses, squared. And it says the distance is 11.66. So round it to the nearest tenth, which is 11.7. The answer to this question is 11.7. Okay, so when you do your test, you will get one question with a nice round whole number as your answer. You'll get one question with a decimal. The question with a decimal is multiple choice, so you can just pick it from the list which one matches the best. Then we get to this guy, that fractional distance question. So when you have something that is a fractional distance, it says J and K are endpoints. Here's K, here's J. It says J is at the point negative 3, negative 7, and K is at the point 5, 9. What are the coordinates of point W? So let's put W right here, which is 1/4 of the distance from J to K. So if I'm going to try to find out 1/4 of the distance, what is the total distance from here to here? How far is it from negative 3 to 5? It's 8 units long. How far is it from negative 7 to 9? 16 units long. Now, I want to travel 1/4 of the total distance in the x direction and the y direction. So I need to find 1/4 of 8. 8 times 1/4. And I want to travel 1/4 of the bottom. 16 times 1/4. So what is 8 times 1/4? 2. I want to go 2 units on top. What is 16 times 1/4? 4. I want to go 4 units on the bottom. So I start here at 3, and I want to go 2 units to the right. What is -3 plus 2? -1 is where W is on the X side. I want to go start at -7 and go 4 units to the right, or -7 plus 4. -3. That's how I wind up 1/4 of the distance. W is at -1, -3. So if I keep traveling by 2's, it goes +4, +4, +4, +4. That's how I divide it into fourths. This is the answer that I want. That's gonna be a tough one, but it is multiple choice. You can kind of guess and check on your number line to see which one's right. The rest of this is your last coordinate plane question. You guys did really well with this when we talked about it, but it's been quite a long time. It says, given point A and me and M is the midpoint of AB, find the other endpoint B. So you have a line. You have A, you have a midpoint, and you're trying to find B. It says A is at 7, -8. The midpoint is at 14, -2. I want to go from here to the midpoint and do the same thing to get to the other endpoint. So how do I get from 7 to 14?
Divide it. Add 8.
Add 7. So I go from here plus 7, I get 14. So I want to do the exact same thing, go from here and do plus 7. So 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus 7 is 21. Now, I want to do the same thing on the bottom. How did I get from here to here? What's the difference between these two? -8 plus something equals -2. 6. So if I go plus 6 to the midpoint, I want to do plus 6 to the other endpoint. So -2 plus 6 is 4. So B is at 21, 4. Kind of just continue the process. The midpoint is equal distances from both endpoints. So plus 7 again. Plus 6 again. Then we get to our triangles. All right, the rest of the test is all about triangles. It says this piece is 16. How long is that piece?
6. I'm not going to be here long, so if you need I think.
Are you going to be here today?
No.
Are you going to be here tomorrow either? You haven't, I gave it to you yesterday.
Did you say on the special cases that we have to do it on? Thank you.
If XZ is 16, how long is CD? 8, half the length. 8. So if this is 8, this is 16. They have that 1/2 to 2. You multiply this line by 2 to get to this line, or you divide this line by 2 to get to this line. Does that make sense? Yes. The short line times 2 equals the long line. The long line divided by 2 equals the short line. So I'll let you guys do this one by yourself, and then we're going to do this one as a class. This is a test question. I have these two things. I have x plus 2, and I have x plus 10. But they are not equal to each other. They don't even look the same size. What do I do to the short line to make it equal the long line? Multiply it by 2. So 2 short lines make a long line. That's the tricky step there. 2 short lines make a long line. Now I have to algebra. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is positive 4. Now it's equal to the long line. You can subtract an x from both sides.
Not about this part.
No?
Just how the answer's gonna
Okay. X plus 4 equals 10. That's subtracting an x from both sides. Then I got to subtract 4 from both sides. Well, x is 6. But nobody cares that x is 6. The question is asking for how long is EF. So if x is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. And 6 plus 10 is 16. Does it work?
Yes.
The short piece is half as long as the long piece. The long piece is twice as long as the short piece. So checking your work really pays dividends here. It is a multiple choice test. You can always go back and guess and check. Up to you. Depends on what the question's asking for. So I'll let you guys try this one by yourself. Then we get to this part. Does anybody remember this stuff? When in doubt, equal it out. So I think those two things look the same. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. 5x minus 3 equals 3x plus 1. And I'm feeling a case of the lazies today. So I'm going to go to my calculator. Go to my calculator. Menu. Algebra. Solve it for me. I have on my paper 5x minus 3 equals 3x plus 1. Please, calculator, comma, solve for x. Please, please, please. Mathemagical. X equals 2. Thank you, old friend. But you have to give me how long is BA. You have to plug it back in. 10 minus 3 is 7. And 6 plus 1 is 7. And they are equal to each other. When x is 2, both of those lines are equal to each other. So that pretty much takes care of that whole top of the page. When in doubt, equal it out. When in doubt, equal it out. And then you get to this question. The old C word. Centroid. Uh-oh. So it says G is the centroid and BE from here to here is 18. Well, I want to know how long is this piece, and I want to know how long is this piece. If the whole thing, not divided by 2, huh?
3.
Divided by 3, because the short piece is 1/3 of the whole line. That's on your cheat sheet. All right. So what is 18 divided by 3? 6. Now, if you get that number, that goes back to that 2 relationship. 6 times 2 is 12. And notice how they both add up to 18, because 6 plus 12 is 18. This is 1/3. This is 2/3. Okay, you might also see something on your test that looks like this. It'll say, this piece is 20. How long is that piece? What's half of 20? 10. Or it might get really crazy and say, this piece is 7. How long is that piece? Double it. 14. So if it gives you the whole line, you have to use thirds. If it gives you half of the line, you have to use that times 2 divided by 2 thing. These are just naming which one is a median, which one is an altitude. You have a cheat sheet that gives you all those answers. This is small, medium, large. This is small, medium, large. And then this is which piece is bigger, just like we covered yesterday. So the gator eats the bigger piece. And that's the whole review. So I've done enough for you. The rest of it is up to you for you to work on that. Any questions? It's on you. If you do have questions, just come find me and I